Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 6, Part 6. Na tat bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ, yad gatvā na nivartante, tad dhāma paramaṁ. That supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. The question that we are going to address in today's session is whether Shuddha Sattva, that is the spiritual world, is self-luminous or not. We will be using terms like Swayam Prakasha. Swayam Prakasha means self-luminous. Aswayam Prakasha means it is not self-luminous. And we will use terms Ajada and Jada. We have discussed Jada and Ajada in the first session of this sloka. Any object that we take for an example, if it is recognized, seen, becomes cognizant by another tool, then it is not self-luminous. Therefore it is Aswayam Prakasha, which is known as Jada. Whereas when an object does not require a third aid, a tool, to be seen, then it is Swayam Prakasha, which is what known as Ajada. From the sloka, it is clear, na tat bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ, that the spiritual abode does not require a aid or a third tool to become cognizant. As it says, the sunlight is not needed to make the spiritual world, abode, visible. The moonlight is not needed. The fire is not needed. Electricity is not needed. If it is not needed, then how it is going to be visible, seen? We in this world know very well that for us to see something, we need certain tools, certain things. If I have an apple in front of me and it is fully dark, then I can't see the apple. If I have the apple in front of me and it is not dark, that means the light is there, so I can see the apple. I have the light, but I don't have eyes, or I close my eyes, then I cannot see the apple. I have light, I have eyes, I don't close my eyes, but if I don't have the chakshusindriya, even though I have eyes, I won't be able to see the apple in front of me. Therefore, the apple is Jada, Aswayam Prakasha, whereas the spiritual world does not require any of these tools to be cognizant. And that is what the sloka says. The spiritual world does not require sun to illuminate it, does not require moon to illuminate it. Then what to speak about a fire? The spiritual world is Swayam Prakasha, self-luminous. Therefore it is Ajada. Let's take another example. Say I have a pot at the corner of my living room. That pot only comes to its existence, in other words, it becomes luminous only when someone sees it. And for someone to see that pot, that person needs to have eyes, light, and knowledge, jnana as well. From the Atma, the jnana travels through the eyes and makes contact with the pot. That makes the pot to be cognizant. then the knowledge travels back and informs the Atma that it is a pot. Then I say, I understand this to be a pot. In the statement I just said, I understand this to be a pot, it has two parts. I is one part. Understanding this to be a pot is a second part. That means Atma is one entity, whereas understanding the knowledge is the second part entity. Atma possesses knowledge, and that is the knowledge which educates the Atma about the external objects. Here is where we need to focus. But for the Atma to understand itself, it doesn't require that jnana, that knowledge. Why? Because Atma is Swayam Prakasha. It is ajada. That is, even when a person sleeps in deep sleep, the I is not forgotten. I is nothing but Atma. Therefore, the point is, for one to recognize themselves, they don't require an aid, which means, as we have already learned, that which doesn't require an aid or a tool to recognize, it is Swayam Prakasha. It is Ajada. Why we are discussing about Atma here? Because Atma is also Ajada, Swayam Prakasha, and the spiritual world, Nitya Vibhuti, that Shuddha Sattva, is also Swayam Prakasha, Ajada. We can extend this understanding to the next level. The Supreme Lord, Paramatma, is also Swayam Prakasha and Ajada. When the Atma reaches the spiritual world which consists of many kopurams, gardens, palaces, this Atma who has reached the supreme abode does not require a sunlight, moonlight, a lamp to become cognizant of the spiritual world and the things that there in the spiritual world, because the spiritual world and things over there are all self-illuminous. In fact, the Jivatma doesn't even need its own jnana, knowledge, to recognize these things of that spiritual world. Everything over there is Swayam Prakasha. The reason we are discussing this is because there are some who say that Shuddha Sattva is also a Jada, just like any other objects in this world. So, the Jivatma must cognize it using his jnana, knowledge. However, as we saw, the truth is that the Shuddha Sattva is in fact Ajada, Swayam Prakasha, which means that it is cognizable on its own without the need of any aid. Just as a Jivatma cognizes himself without expecting any other aid, even his own jnana is not needed. Similarly, the Jivatma can cognize the Nitya Vibhuti also directly without the need of his own jnana. The next immediate question that arises is, if the spiritual world, so bright, so luminous, that it can even make the sun appear dark, then why are we in this world not able to cognize the spiritual world? The spiritual world is Swayam Prakasha, irrespective of the distance that we have from this world where we are to the spiritual world. Because it is Swayam Prakasha, it is self-luminous, we should be able to see it from wherever we are. why that's not happening now? The answer is, the Nitya Vibhuti is certainly Ajada, Swayam Prakasha, but for those who have attained liberation. It is for the Muktatma and not for the people like us who are still caught in this Prakriti, in the Samsara. We are Baddhatma. Then the next question comes, how come when an object is self-illuminous, Swayam Prakasha, it can have such condition that at some time it is Swayam Prakasha and sometime it is not. It is Swayam Prakasha to some people and not for some people. How can that be? To understand this, we have to take an example. First, let's understand the question. The question is, spiritual world is bright, self-luminous. Then why only some people can cognize it who are Muktatma? Why not the Baddhatma can cognize it? For that we are going to see an example. We have learned that the living entities, that's a Jivatma, is also Swayam Prakasha. Let's one more time make clear what it means. For me to understand I don't require a third party, something else, to make me aware of I, because the Atma is Jnanamaya. It constantly, continuously aware of I. Therefore, it doesn't even require its knowledge to know itself. And that is what is said as Swayam Prakasha. Now, with that understanding, say I am standing with another person next to me. I am also Swayam Prakasha. That person who is standing next to me is another Atma. So he is also Swayam Prakasha. Does that mean that I can see his Atma through my knowledge now? Or can he see my Atma through his knowledge? Answer is no. If that is the case, everyone in this world will be able to see beyond the body, to see the Atma. If everyone sees the Atma, then there is no differences. We are all spirit souls. We are not Indian, we are not American, we are not white, we are not black, we are not Brahmana, we are not Sudra, we are not rich, we are not poor, we are not ugly, we are not beautiful. We are Jnanamaya. There won't be any fight. There won't be any arguments. We all will have a united world. But we know that's not the case. Because I am not able to see that Atma, even though it is Swayam Prakasha, and that person who is standing next to me is now able to see I as Atma, though mine is also Swayam Prakasha. Till through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, that we understand when a person is standing in front of me walks through Anumanam, that is inference, understands that this person who is situated in this body is walking. We still don't see the Atma at all, but we make an Anumanam. Another example is Paramatma is also inside each one of us, but we don't see him, though he is also Swayam Prakasha. If he was visible to everyone and we are able to see him, then the whole world will become God conscious. Again, as we know, that is not the case. So, through these examples, the point that to be noted here is, just because Swayam Prakasham, it doesn't mean that it is going to be visible to everyone at all times. That is not the requirement of Swayam Prakasham either. So the spiritual world is illuminous to itself, which is cognizant, and Swayam Prakasham, that those who are liberated will be able to experience it. Another point is the jnana, the knowledge, is also ajada, Swayam Prakasha. For the Jivatma to recognize its jnana, it doesn't require another jnana, as this jnana is also Swayam Prakasha. It's like we don't need another lamp to see a lamp. We don't need another jnana to know the jnana. One last question before we could conclude this session on this topic. Why can't we say that the spiritual world is made of jnana, knowledge? Why we need to accept Shuddha Sattva? There are few points that's been said. Let's see them. Jnana doesn't take different forms like mansion, garden, homes, etc. For argument's sake, assume that it is jnana which takes different forms like this. Then there's a conflict. The conflict is that the same jnana becomes an object to be cognizant, which cannot be the case. Therefore, we need to accept Shuddha Sattva, can't accept jnana to be the spiritual world. Another point is jnanam, the knowledge, doesn't have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. But in the spiritual world, the 5 elements we learned, Parameshti, Puman, Nivartante, Vishvaha, Sarvaha, they are the same Shuddha Sattvam in these forms. It is through these 5 elements that the Nitya Vibhuti is made of. They have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, whereas Jnana, the knowledge, absorbs sound. Jnana absorbs touch. Jnana absorbs form. Jnana absorbs taste. Likewise, jnana absorbs smell. Not that jnana itself is a sound, jnana itself a touch, jnana itself a form, jnana itself a taste, or jnana itself a smell. So the jnana doesn't have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Whereas Shuddha Sattva, it has these Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Therefore, jnana and Shuddha Sattva are 2 different entities. It is not that the spiritual world is made of jnana. The spiritual world is made of Shuddha Sattva. Because it is made of Shuddha Sattva, the spiritual world is full of jnana and ananda, which are the effects of Shuddha Sattva. In this session, we learned about the spiritual world, which is Shuddha Sattva, and that Shuddha Sattva is ajada, Swayam Prakasha. Therefore, that supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. In the next session, we will learn the various names by which the spiritual world is referred as, and also some descriptions about the spiritual world. Namaste, Hare Krishna.